Holding back tears, the families of Alexis Lee and John J.R. Collins remember the engaged couple's lives cut short. His parents holding hands while we talked about their whirlwind romance.
He loved Alexis as well as...
Renee Scott Lyles was buried by debris when her house collapsed in the storm. Russell Kinsaw spoke with her sister, now grieving, a sibling and a best friend.
Close, very close since childhood. They vacationed together and hung out together.
Well, she was a funny person.
Renee and her husband, Alan Lyles, a church pastor, were longtime residents at their home on Bayard, both with a heart for serving.
She meant a lot to the community. Her and her husband was the block unit of the street. Both used to walk around and just, assist people.
He was just a great husband. He was like a big brother to me.
Dwight Scalf is the brother-in-law of Laurel County Fire Major Les Leatherman. He's now picking up the pieces of what's left of the Leatherman's home and says he wasn't at all surprised to hear his brother-in-law died.
All right, what's up with the YouTube fam? I'm back again with another video. So listen, man, I woke up this morning and I seen 3 different stories that really touched me, man, real talk. And it's just sad and unfortunate that a lot of people are losing their lives in the most craziest ways, and death is inevitable. We know that, but it's just crazy, like how stuff is happening, in the magnitude of certain things. It's just crazy, bro, all the way around. But these 3 different stories basically all involve people that are in marriages or finna be in a marriage or in a relationship simply. The first story took place in Baton Rouge, and I want to say RIP to everybody who lost their lives in these situations. And I want to send my condolences out to everybody's family. I just want to send y'all some love, some peace, and some healing energy y'all way. But basically, this first story took place where a young lady by the name of Alexis Lee, she was 25 years old. She just graduated not too long ago. And, she was engaged to her future husband by the name of John Collins. He was 35 years old. So basically, she lost her life at around 2 a.m. They're saying that she lost control. And then after she lost her life, I don't think he knew. I just think that he knew that it was a real bad crash. He went to go to the crash scene and ultimately ended up losing control as well, and he lost his life also. That's some Final Destination type of shit, man, real talk. But, I know a lot of people gonna try to say, it ain't that, it's this and this and that. Man, it ain't that deep. I was just making a quick statement, but ultimately, he lost his life, and they left behind a 4-year-old son. Now, to hear the family say that they will be there for him, it's something that I really, really do commend on both sides. Even though they weren't married and stuff like that, they both said that they were going to try to make sure that their child has a great life, and I love that. But, the next situation, and they said that their situation is under investigation. I got all of these videos in here. I'm just giving y'all a brief synopsis. Another situation took place in St. Louis where a couple, they were bonded together until the tornado, split them apart, and the debris buried them. You know what, matter of fact, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna talk about this stuff during the videos. I just want to say, man, it's just sad and unfortunate. It just made me think like, damn, man, we need to be hugging on our families, a little bit tighter, spending more time with them, showing a little bit more love, have a little bit more grace and things like that, because you truly never know when life will end, you feel me? But let's go ahead and get into these situations. Like I said before, RIP to them, and I want to send my condolences out to everybody who lost their life in this situation. And I also want to send some love out there to everybody who's affected by these tornadoes and other natural disasters. But let's go ahead and get into this whole situation.
I know it's God's will, I'm empty inside.
A family trying to find the strength after a couple is killed less than 2 hours apart in 2 separate crashes. Those crashes happened overnight Friday. Now their families are preparing to lay the couple to rest.
Good evening to you, friends. Greg and Elizabeth here with you. Dion Guillory spoke with their family tonight and has their story. Hey, Dion.
Hey, Greg. The couple was building a future together, ready to get married. Separate tragedies took them, leaving behind their 4-year-old son.
I love them. I'm going to miss both of them. And I'm going to find the strength to go ahead.
Holding back tears, the families of Alexis Lee and John J.R. Collins remember the engaged couple's lives cut short. His parents holding hands while we talked about their whirlwind romance.
He loved Alexis as well as everybody else who knew her.
It was a different feeling. And it's like I know a part of me gone.
The couple, set to get married early next year, died overnight last Friday in separate crashes. State police say Alexis lost control of her SUV and crashed on Plank Road near Lemon Road in Zachary. You can still see damage left behind to this ditch. We are told investigators called JR to tell him what happened. On his way to the crash scene, troopers say he lost control of his car on Plank Road just outside the town of Clinton. He hit this tree, was ejected, and died. They leave behind their 4-year-old little boy, Gabriel.
He's just having a little problem comprehending that we can't talk to them, we can't see them, but he understands that they're asleep.
Alexis was a recent Southern University grad who taught at East Feliciana STEAM Academy. JR was a truck driver who loved sports cars. The couple just bought a new home. Despite the tragedy, their love lives on through their son.
The two families will blend, and we will do whatever it takes to give him a good life.
And I really do love that, man, you know, because a lot of times, man, people really just don't feel obligated to take care of certain people if they're not directly associated with the family. It's got to be some real blood ties involved or a real literal marriage. So I commend them on that. It's just sad that they lost their lives like this, bro. And it's just so crazy, make you wonder, make you scared. I just want to say, man, be more observant and just stay prayed up because, you know, you really can't avoid the inevitable. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the next story. I just had to say what I had to say about that because this right here just told me up. You trying to go check on your loved one and then you end up losing your life too. That's crazy. Let's get back into it though.
The family is having a celebration of life for the couple tomorrow morning. It starts at 11 at East Feliciana STEAM Academy on Plank Road in Clinton. Greg.
All right.
Still working to identify all 5 people killed after storms tore through the St. Louis area on Friday night. We know Patricia Pendleton, Juan Baltazar, and Delois Holmes died. And tonight we're hearing from the loved ones of another person who died. Renee Scott Lyles was buried by debris when her house collapsed in the storm. Russell Kinsaw spoke with her sister, now grieving, a sibling, and a best friend.
So right now I'm at the command post monitoring the situation here in North St. Louis. It's hard to believe that the home where Renee Scott Lyles and her husband lived was a 3-story house because now the roof is sitting on the ground. Both of them were inside the house when the tornado hit. He survived, but she was not as fortunate.
I'm just gonna truly miss my sister.
Erlina Scott and her sister Renee Scott Lyles were close, very close, since childhood. They vacationed together and hung out together.
Well, she was a funny person.
Renee and her husband Alan Lyles, a church pastor, were longtime residents at their home on Bayard, both with a heart for serving.
She meant a lot to the community. Her and her husband was the block unit of the street. Both used to walk around and just, you know, assist people if it was needed.
Friday afternoon, the two of them were on their way to safety in the basement when the tornado hit.
They were holding hands, and all of a sudden, the wind came very strong, pushed her back, like pulled her back. The wind was so strong. So he lost her.
The tornado smashed into the couple's home, causing the 3-story brick house to collapse. People heard him shouting for help, but she didn't survive the collapse and the pile of rubble.
He said he seen a dresser fly and hit her first.
Renee's death has left a hole in her sister's heart.
That will forever be. That hole will always be.
Family, friends, and neighbors are feeling the loss of someone described as having the kindest soul.
Will truly be missed.
Some of Renee Scott Lyles' neighbors say they thought of her as a second mother. And they say she was always ready to help anyone in need. Live in North St. Louis, Russell Kinsaw, First Alert 4.
It's very sad. All right, Russell.
We're not hearing any reports of deaths there. Addie Miners joins me now. Addie, you spent the day here in Sunshine Hills neighborhood here, and the devastation is insane, but you have been able to talk to some folks who survived it.
Yes, I did. I've talked to people who have survived it, how this community is really working together, and you know.
This is not the same story. This is the third story where a husband lost his life trying to save his wife. this is man, it's crazy, bro. But you know, he's been, you know, saving people for years, and this is just something that is a natural instinct for a man anyway. But damn, it's just sad that these people losing their lives like this, and then people are witnessing their loved ones passing away too. It's crazy. Let's get back into it.
Really finding resiliency in this mess, but unfortunately some of them did lose loved ones, and we were actually able to speak to the family of Fire Major from the Laurel County Fire Department, Les Leatherman, and his family tells me that while they will miss him, he did die doing what he did best, and that is protecting others.
He was just a great husband. He was like a big brother to me.
Dwight Scalf is the brother-in-law of Laurel County Fire Major Les Leatherman. He's now picking up the pieces of what's left of the Leatherman's home and says he wasn't at all surprised to hear his brother-in-law died doing what he does best, protecting his wife, Michelle.
He wrapped himself around my sister, and that I guess when the tornado hit, that it just separated them.
Michelle Leatherman, Scalf's sister, survived. Her husband was found on top of her, shielding her from the storm. Michelle is now recovering in the hospital, but is expected to be okay, thanks to Les.
He was just everything that you would want in a man, and just a great-hearted guy.
Les served as a Laurel County firefighter for 39 years and had responded to multiple other calls on Friday. Now Scalf says he hopes Les can be remembered as a hero.
Just the people that you love, just tell them how much you love them. You know, if we knew that it was going to be the last time that we seen him, you know, we would have loved a little more, you know what I'm saying? Because who would have ever thought this would have happened?
Well, Les will absolutely be remembered as a hero, not only here in Laurel County, but across the state.
That's the end of the video. It cuts off right there. But, you know, I was just saying that a while ago that we need to take more time out to love on our people, have more grace, more understanding, just try to see where they're coming from in certain instances, and yeah, just remember that it can happen to anybody at any given time. So, you know, just stay prayed up. A lot of people feel like that certain things can't happen to them, and I really want you to understand that anything can happen to anybody. So yeah, but you know, I just wish that baby didn't have to go through what he's going through. You know, I'm still stuck on that first story because damn, you know, so many people were affected that quick. But I'm not saying any story is more, you know, I ain't got to do all that. Y'all know I'm coming from. It's just when kids are involved, y'all know how I get. But if you've been rocking with me. Other than that, man, I done say what I had to say about this whole situation. I want to say RIP to them again. And I just want to say, man, you know, just love on your people more. I ain't just talking about no damn spouses, family that you really genuinely got a love for, that's been there for you and stuff like that. Love on them people, bro, because you don't really get that many people that's really there for you and really care for you. But I done say what I had to say about this whole situation. I want to know your thoughts and opinions on this. As you can see, my mood is altered. I'm not my normal self because this just threw me for a loop. And I really don't like to bring these type of stories back to back to back. I like to switch it up. So this is what we're going to do after this. I just have to bring y'all this story right now. And I'll holler at y'all later on another video. All right.